Our speaker today is one of the co-founders of our community, a licensed Unity teacher, and as Martha and I have called him, the rock on which this church is built. It's Chris Garey.
Has changed my life. And so for me, it started almost exactly 2 years ago. And I was sort of floating along in my life, just doing the things I needed to do to get things done, not really any particular direction. And then a set of videos came along by Maria, their video interviews by Maria Shriver called Radically Reframing Aging. So for me, that started the change. It's a change in mindset. And that ties in perfectly with our Unity principles that our thoughts and our actions and our feelings shape our experience of life. So here's a quote from Yeshua. You are in class. Your life is your classroom, your curriculum. The important thing is to choose your teacher. Is it the Holy Spirit, who is gentleness, peace, love, and joy itself? Or is it the ego, who is criticism, pain, blame, darkness, etc.? Remember, do not berate yourself if you've chosen wrongly, but forgive yourself, breathe, and choose again. So that's what Aging Gracefully reminded me of, that we're still in school at any age. We're always learning. And Aging Gracefully taught me new choices. And then each moment in our life is a teaching moment, a choosing moment. And the lessons that we learn change as we age. And the first thing in my aging journey is this change of mindset. So what's the change in mindset? It's the change from thinking that I'm a victim of aging. A lot of other speakers have talked about being in victim mode. So that's got me out of a victim mode and realize that there are things that I can change and make adjustments in. And here's a quote from Laura Carnston, PhD. What we all need to realize is that aging is malleable. It isn't a fixed state of being. It's up to us to make use of this gift in whatever ways we choose. So aging is a gift? What is that all about? And I realized that after retired, we have the time and the freedom to do what we want to do. And that's the gift. And in this world, there's always change. And our Unity teachings tell us not to fight against change, but to accept it and allow it. And aging is a part of our changing world, so it's important to focus on how to manage the aging of the body and the mind and make little adjustments. For example, my eyesight is not as good as it used to be, so I print out the talk in big print so I can read it. Just an adjustment. So what is malleable or adjustable or manageable? Well, the blue zones give us some clues about that. And the blue zones are areas in the world where people naturally live longer than the average. So the blue zone studies and the videos that we watched and the books that we studied all point to these pillars of healthy longevity. One is a positive mindset and sense of purpose. Another is eating food that nourishes the body and the brain, exercise for the body and the brain, proper sleep, stress reduction, and being part of a supportive community like we have in our Unity community. Those are all the pillars of longevity. So of those, I'd like to focus on the sense of purpose, because for me, that's the foundation. If we have a sense of purpose and a passion, then we're going to get up in the morning and get on with our day and get things done, accomplish what we need to accomplish. If we don't, then that feeling is going to be diminished. And then we can make the beneficial choices. So the purpose of this moment is the purpose that we give it. And the question that we need to ask ourselves, is this moment, what I'm doing in this moment, is that moving me towards love or away from love? Or is it moving me towards health or away from health? So we can be aware of our moments. And for example, non-judgment, acceptance, feelings of peace, gratitude, those all move us towards love. And then the anger, judgment, resentment, bitterness, those all move us away from love. So why is this looking at the moment important and the purpose of the moment? Because it ties in with our overall purpose. And then when we have our overall life purpose, then we can focus in on our daily purpose. So what is our overall purpose in life? That's something that's been debated for centuries. But I think Unity gives us a good answer. It's be helpful, not harmful, by contributing to the expansion of the consciousness of ourselves and the world. And then each of us do that in our own unique way. Or putting it another way, we are here to extend God's love out into the world, and we each do that differently. And we know that we're extending God's love when we have those feelings of joy, peace, gratitude, acceptance, non-judgment. Then we know we're extending love. So we can focus on the love of ourselves, and in particular the care of our bodies and our minds, so we can continue to extend God's love with our happy, healthy brains and bodies. And then we know that our brain and our body is not who we are. Our essence, who we really are, is our spiritual essence, our consciousness. But we want to have healthy lives so we can continue to extend love out into the world as long as we can. And I think for me, that's our overall purpose, extending love out into the world. And we can always be asking, what do I need to do differently? Because there's always change, so that I need to move along with change. What are things I want to do differently? So we can reevaluate and make adjustments. And I like to use the analogy of the car. When we're driving down the road, if you think about it, we're making little mid-course adjustments to stay in the proper lane, slowing up or speeding up, depending on what the conditions are. We're always making these mid-course changes. So we need to do that in our lives also. Be ready to make change. And I know that word change is, ooh, change. But yeah, we need to be ready to do that. So we can make adjustments in our lifestyle that aid in our healthy longevity. And it's really an investment in preventative maintenance. And that's what I've learned, the preventative maintenance that we can do in all of those 5 pillars that we talked about. And I like to use the analogy of the car. You know, a car can last 250,000 miles or more if you take care of it, change the oil and do all of the preventative maintenance. But if you don't, it may only last 100,000 miles and have expensive repairs along the way. So this preventive maintenance, it costs to change the oil and all those things, but it's better in the long run. So same thing with our bodies. Preventative maintenance is well worth it. So the Aging Gracefully program gives me those positive choices because I know the consequences of nutrition choices. I now know the consequences of eating that junk food, what that really does to your body. And organic food is a little more expensive, but it's worth it because it's an investment in yourself. And so unity helps us with our spiritual choices and options, and this aging gracefully helped me with my lifestyle choices. So it's building a skill set so we can easily answer the question, is this moving me towards health or away from health? And then next is, once you learn that skill set, applying it to your lives, which is the hard part, just like the unity principle that we related. Knowing the spiritual principles is not enough. We have to apply them to our lives. So applying that skill set is important. And changes don't happen immediately. For me, 20 years of neglect of exercise, that doesn't change overnight when I start exercising again. But I see small improvements, and I can see that the body can recover. And that's the motivation. And as Maya Angelou says, when we know better, we can do better. So one of the problems is that our parents and society and the schools don't teach us about being a senior. And then in our society there's actually ageism, which is a bias against seniors. So we have to let go of all those tapes that seniors are out of little value. Because we can understand that we have wisdom. We've been there. We've done that. We know how things work. So we have the wisdom that we can impart to others in ways of, in a form of providing service. That reminds me of a story that I think I've relayed before, but it's important. It was when I was maybe 10, 12 years old. I remember my dad telling me a story about the 3 stages of life. One is when you're young, it's help me, feed me, take care of me. When you're middle age, it's I've got my family, my career, I don't need any help. When you become a senior, it's how can I help you? So that's the mode that we want to get into. And it's a quote from Susan B. Anthony. The older I get, the greater power I seem to have to help the world. And from Abraham, you will never get it done. You are an eternally expanding being, and you are doing great things where you are, and eager about what's coming. That's the essence of the vibration that keeps adventurous things coming, keeps you feeling always excited, stable, and secure, keeps you feeling in love with life. So remember that we are always expanding, no matter what age we are, always learning, always growing. And that was an important mindset change for me. And then so we can, with this mindset, we can acquire the skills to move to the attitude of what's next? What's next? What's on the horizon? And that what's next can be a small thing. Mother Teresa tells us, not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with love. That's important. To summarize, the body is an ecosystem of the interweaving of the mindset, nutrition, exercise, proper sleep, stress reduction, and being part of a community. And developing that skill set is to helping provide the preventative maintenance. And that's the main thing for me. This takeaway is this idea of preventative maintenance. So it's the mindset and sense of purpose that I want to have a long, healthy life, and I'm willing to invest time and energy to make the adjustments to make that happen. And so that's Aging Grace. So again, the Aging Grace program has given me the mindset and the skill set to carry on and ask, what's next? It can be what's next in my maintenance program, what's next in my whatever program, things I want to do. And then remembering that aging is a gift, and we have the wisdom and the time to serve ourselves and serve others. Each of us in our own unique way. And I have a quote from Howard Thurman that I always like. You've heard this before, but don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. Yes. And you know, I always like to close with an affirmation. And I was on the Unity Worldwide Ministry website, and they had a program called Coming Alive in 2025. So I thought, well, that's pretty catchy. But does that mean that I was not alive in 2024? No, that's not the idea. Not what I want to get across. So I added on to that, making the affirmation, I will continue to come alive in 2025. I will continue to come alive in 2025. Let's say that together. I will continue to come alive in 2025. Can I hear an amen? Oh, yeah.